Hey everyone, thanks for joining this Twitter space or this X space. Uh, it's been a while since we wanted to schedule something like this. Thanks also to our ambassador, BlockProducer, stake pool operator. We have been rescheduling this Twitter space because there were so many things happening on our startup, and we wanted to do a Twitter space in order to update about what's been going on this month, this week, and what's the future of FluidTokens.
Yes, thank you, Raul, for the time that you offered us and that we can also do it together. For us, it's also like the first time that we switched then from a German also to English. It's also something new for us, but I think we can manage it. And we wanted also because in the past we hear a lot of questions, or people raise the questions about the future, about the Fluid token and what's going on. But therefore, today we speak about this. But before we speak about the future, I would like to go back a little bit and speak what happened personally. And I think for the most of the people, it would be all interesting to ask you what happened. You moved now from Italy to Swiss, and this would be also great a little bit to get us insight. What happened? Why do you move? What do you expect there? Of course, it's not so nice than Italy, but can you share a few insights with us regarding this?
Sure. So FluidTokens is incorporated in Switzerland, and this has been transparent since day one. Why this? Well, first of all, we wanted, before launching our token, our project as legal entity, we wanted to do things properly and be legal compliant as a startup. And Switzerland was offering a more crypto-friendly environment. Like, for instance, in Zug, a city, you can find the Crypto Valley. It's a sort of Silicon Valley, but there are so many startups in the Web3 space around there. And we were working from Italy, and so moving a bit sometimes in Switzerland in order to go to the office. But since me and Matt, co-founders, have grew up in Italy, this is the place where we were based most of the time. But once we launched our token, in order to be really better at managing the bureaucracy and everything of the company, me, Raul, decided to move to Switzerland in order to be closer to our legal side. And it's maybe there are the city is a small city. I am in the Italian side of Switzerland, but you know what? I really enjoy the mountains, the lake, so I like it so far. It's nice, and also it really helps me to be focused on the work in the on the Cardano side, on the development side. So I think it's good.
Yes, but how do you manage it in? And so you spent the whole week then in Swiss and moved then also to Italy, also together with Matt.
No, right now I am the only one in Switzerland, while Matt is still operating and working from Italy, and so we are splitting a bit the tasks, and I am handling the bureaucracy side.
The funny side, or
I wouldn't call the funny side the bureaucracy.
no, nice. And but how you split then also the responsibilities between you and Matt? So it's like you take the bureaucracy, and he took like the development of the platform.
Well, this is actually a very, very good question. You know, I think that so far we've done so many Twitter spaces, but we never got asked how do we split our roles, me and Matt. And this is pretty curious because, if maybe people around the space don't know, me and Matt are very, very tech side developers. And what can I say? the fact is that the how do we split our tasks? It's not really something like, hey, you do this, I do this, or something like that. It didn't happen either in the beginning of the company. It was more like, once he was busy doing something, for instance, in the very, very first days, he's the only one between me and Matt that can develop on Bluetooth. So he was the only one writing smart contract in Bluetooth. So while he was doing that, I was handling the bureaucracy part in order to be legal incorporated. But at the same time, so let's say that this role, I got this role since the very start. But as soon as he finished the smart contract side, I was the one testing the smart contracts and deploying, integrating them in the platform. I don't know if you remember the very, very first version of FluidTokens. And so a bit like this, he's very good, for instance, with the partnership, finding new clients in the Web2 space. So there are, even if we both are really tech, our, let's say, personality is very different, and what we like even is very different. And in this way, we are able to cover different areas. And I think that you can even see maybe he's, for instance, more into the intersect strategic team in Cardano for onboard stable coins on Cardano, while I am more into the tech side, exploring new things that maybe are still not yet explored. And yeah, let's say, I would say this.
No, nice. But I'm curious that nobody asked about this, because it's like we get few questions on this, because when we see the development, especially what's going on with the stable coins and so on, everybody asking, oh, cool, they're doing so much. The people should get more funds, more attention also from Cardano, or that they get really, that they can put the best what they did already in other projects. Therefore, it's like I think, and during the other, like the Cardano, when you meet also Charles, I think this was also like spoken about this or not, that they can push you more or not.
What do you mean by push more? From which
From the
side?
development side and how you set up, because it's like when we look on Fluid, you started, I think, not in the sense as the majority of the projects are doing. The first they came, make like, okay, we make the IPO of the token, collect then the funds, and then start developing. You when because you raised the question, do you remember the beginning? Yes, it was like when we met, when we started to discuss. It was like really a project. It was the project. The product has not been developed. You're working on the tiny things on the UI side, and then it started. And then after that, when the product stands, you start then exactly what is needed to develop, also to enlarge the community. And then when the product is finished, then the eco came. This is different to other projects, and therefore when we speak also like with the community, the people say, yes, exactly this we wanted to see. And this should be like a prime for the other projects when they enter the market. And therefore I thought, have you ever spoken with Charles about this, what's going on, and how do you did the project?
Okay, I see what you mean. Well, in my opinion, it's not really about Charles in this case. Let's remember for a moment how projects started on Cardano. I think that most of us know that at the very early stage on Cardano, if you had an idea and you pitched, let's say, in a really nice way, and you started asking for money without delivering something, it could actually happen that you were able to fundraise. But we saw so many examples of teams that collected money, didn't really had the skills to deliver and to run what they promised. And so the project couldn't handle all that work, all the promises, and so on. And that's why also when we launched our project, we said, okay, let's do in the opposite way. We don't want to collect any fund until we showcase what we are really capable of. And it seems like centuries ago when everything started. And yeah, I would say that it's really, really nice what we achieved, what we did. And we are happy about the path that we decided. It was really hard, trust me, because starting a project like this with zero funds and trusting only on your pockets is not easy. It's not easy because sometimes you say, but what am I doing? What's the reason behind this? And why I don't know. I don't invest my time in something else that maybe is more profitable. But no, in the end, we had a mission. And our mission is to be able to deliver the best DeFi experience. I'm not talking only about lending on Cardano and on other chains. We want to be a point of reference in the space, in the DeFi space. And I think that the last updates on our end has been on this point of view with this vision. And so I'm really happy also to see some projects that are coming on Cardano that are following the same path. So they, before asking money, they are working, developing, and releasing stuff because this is what we need. And yeah, this is my answer to this question. I would say we as community should demand more by our projects. If someone come and knocks at my door asking for money, we have to ask to deliver something before providing any liquidity to them.
Exactly, Raul. I was curious because you went really a different way at the beginning, and this is like also um, a spotlight for other projects how to do this. Therefore, it's also like what happened in the last 6 months. So it's like you moved from Italy to Swiss. You connected more to the legal side of the project. And what happened in the previous 6 months? What have you so far done? What have been the biggest milestones?
Well, in the last 6 months, let's say what we launched as a innovative stage, an innovative service 6 months ago was Fluid Share, our renting service. And yesterday I was speaking with someone from the community, and he was asking me, "Is it possible that I rent my NFT to someone else without losing the asset?" And I was like, "Have you ever tried free tokens? Like, you can already do it, and you don't have to worry about losing your asset because it's smart contract based. So we as free tokens don't have any control over it." And also the borrower, the one that is going to get that NFT, is not actually able to use it and move it around. And this was very innovative in my sense. And then we released boosted stake with the same concept. So merging renting, in this case, it is renting of ADA. We were able to provide a good yield on Cardano. We know that, for instance, the staking APR was decreasing, has decreased a lot in the last days. But boosted stake is the solution to this. And at the same time, we provided with boosted stake a way for users that maybe don't have enough funds to join ICPOs. They can now borrow a huge amount of ADA, because I think right now we have a record, an all-time high, like more than 9 million of ADA have been deposited on boosted stake. And if you are a whale, or even if you are a shrimp, in like you have only 5,000 ADA, 1,000 ADA, and you would like to use boosted stake because you trust on ADA, you don't want to sell it, but you also want to earn a bit more than the regular staking, that's a no-brainer. It's really, really useful. Sometimes people ask me, yes, but you cannot compare it with regular staking because regular staking has no risk. That's true. But at the same time, boosted stake has no financial risk, in the meaning that there are no defaults. Borrowers that are using your ADA cannot spend it or move it, and you get it back always. What are the risks then? Well, with every smart contract, so it's not only boosted stake, there could be some issues on for instance, on the programming language, but that's why we use Aiken. We use Aiken because it's backed by Cardano. That's why we made an audit, and you can find it in our website, because we wanted to test everything and check that there were no faults. And yeah, we have been running, I think it's 4 months now, and people are happy. No issues have happened. People that have deposited ADA there are earning 8% APR on their ADA there. And yeah, maybe it's not insane. We are not promising 100%, 20% APR, insane rates, but we are offering more than regular staking and with lower risks.
Yes, everybody who wanted to earn more, he can use this. And I think this also shows now the TVL development of Fluid Token in the previous months. When we implemented this, it started incredibly. And also, like in the previous days, we saw a bigger whale came also to this. So it's like it works, and the advantage is huge also for small projects. They need funds, with this can raise it. But now when we skip a little bit also like the past months, what happened here, also one spotlight I would also like to discuss with you. This was like with the stablecoin with USDC. I think Matt is here in the driving seat. But what happened here? So we saw a lot of tweets. We saw a lot of attention there, and also spotlight is coming in that this is being developing. Can you give us a little bit also insights on this, Raul?
Sure, sure, sure. So maybe as you have seen in the last months, I would say, yeah, last 2 months, we've been also working together with Michele Harmonics in order to check, first of all, if it was only a technical issue regarding USDC. And then in the latter, we've been working also close to Cardano in order to see what was the real issue. If, okay, we say, look, the technical issues are fixed. We have worked on it, and so if that was the issue, no problem. But how can we do in order to onboard USDC, USDT? We don't have preference when it's a matter of stablecoin. It's just one for me is the same as the other. Then, okay, some people could complain about this and say, no, USDC is backed by this, USDT is backed by this. But in the end, so in the very first stage, we decided to say, okay, let's say that we want to onboard USDC, but USDC doesn't want to come to Cardano because they can't freeze our assets. Okay, then Matt started to develop with Michele a way in order to create smart assets, smart tokens that are capable in case of a legal entity requires it to be frozen. This is against decentralization, but the same way, if we want to onboard particular tokens, so we don't want to extend this to any token. This is if that's required, okay. On Cardano, it is possible to do it. What's missing now? Well, the issue with this solution was that when we released our MVP of this, it was fully working, and we presented it to Intersect, so Cardano. The issue then was that it's not enough when you have only a technical solution. Then you have to speak with the third party that you are interested into, right? And that's how Matteo started to get involved in Intersect in order to onboard officially the USDC or USDT. Now another issue arises, because if we are able to onboard it with this technical solution, there is an issue. Our current DeFi, so any DEX, any lending platform and so on, does not support yet smart tokens. So imagine that you are able to onboard a stablecoin, but you are not able to use it in any DeFi platform. Only you can pay, okay, you can send it around, okay. So it's lacking of that. But the last updates are that we're keeping working with Intersect in order to understand if it is possible to onboard USDC using Cardano native tokens directly. And in the same way, next week we are going to be in Paris. And why? Because Circle is going to be there, and we have as mission to have at least a talk with them and understand what are the possible developments that could lead Cardano to onboard USDC officially.
But do you get also help here from Cardano directly from the foundation to to get in contact with them?
Yes, they are actually helping.
Okay, but are there also some DEXs which are interested to start with this? Like, because you mentioned, okay, good, if we do this smart tokens, what happens then with the DEX? Is, for example, is some project interested also on collaboration?
Yes, actually, we are good partners with MainSwap, and we have already offered our help in order to onboard it smart tokens into any DEX. But I think that the solution is in between. If we are able to onboard Circle with the Cardano native tokens, that is going to be the real win condition, because we are able to onboard stablecoin, we are able to use it on our current DeFi, any DApp, and so everyone is winning. At the same time, I don't want to say that I have preferences regarding stable coins. I'm very happy that USDM is live. We also integrated it in our platform, so users can use it. But I think that we need more and more stable liquidity in our ecosystem, and this is the way.
Exactly. So it's like somebody would also mention, yes, we have chat, but yes, the liquidity is the key here. And okay, thank you. This was also interesting for me, because this I didn't know, like regarding next week that in Paris what's going on. But when we now stop with this, the previous months, Raul, and we look a little bit in advance on which projects are you working currently on Fluid? Like how you would like to enlarge the product? Do you see also like improvements? Do you see also the additional products included which you currently don't have implemented? Could you give us also here a little bit insights on what types are you working now?
Sure. So first of all, there are now two sides of the world of Fluid tokens, because we are Cardano side right the moment, and this is what we are working on this month. We want to release our new front end this month in April. And what is going to change? Well, actually, it's going to change a lot, because the current front end is a bit, let's say, has so many things that sometimes new users get lost. And we want to make the Fluid tokens experience smooth. So you enter on Fluid tokens and you're able to understand everything. And with a few clicks, you are able to do what you want. The other new thing is that you will be able to provide liquidity for not only NFTs, but also tokens. The ADA that you provide is going to be delegating with you while it's not being used. And you can choose the APR, the interest, the time duration as lender that you wish for your ADA. And borrowers are going to be able to borrow from multiple lenders in a few clicks. How do we achieve this? We use transaction chaining. So we will be able to borrow from 100 of lenders at the same time. I don't know, maybe I have 100 space bats. That's okay, you can use it. I am a whale of LDT and I want to borrow using all of them. You can. And this is going to be really helpful. Also, we are going to release our renting V2 with this front end. And well, I think that this is going to be a nice update in order to become a really game-changing protocol in the lending ecosystem. And apart from this, we are working on Aquarium. So what is Aquarium? Aquarium is the very, very first way to achieve bubble fees on Cardano in a decentralized way, okay? Because right now you could even handle it using a multi-signature wallet, but at that's not really what we want. We want to have a network of validators. They will be asked to hold FLDT in order to become a validator. And these validators are going to be able to process these transactions and to allow users that are sending these transactions to pay using Cardano native assets. Does it mean that I can pay using any token? No. Someone, the project, the validator, other users have to say, okay, I am accepting this token in exchange of this ADA, and the users are able to use that token to pay the fees. So it's going to be a way for the ADA providers to get the tokens at a lower price, and a way for the users to use their tokens to pay for transaction fees. And sometimes, if you think about this, maybe it's not really intuitive. What is the use case for this? But then you remember one thing. If we have stable coins on Cardano, are you going to ask to enterprise, to companies to purchase ADA in order to send transactions and so on? No, you will let them get stable coins on Cardano, and then you will let them pay the fees of the transaction with those stable coins. So their experience on Cardano is smooth, and they don't have to worry about, oh, damn, I don't have enough ADA to send this token because it's more than the minimum ADA that I don't have at the moment. No, don't worry. Aquarium is here for that. And I would say that these are the major works that we are this month on the Cardano side, while instead on the Bitcoin side, we are working on the implementation of every wallet, because right now I think that there is another lending platform, but it doesn't include every wallet, and we want to onboard every user. And at the same time, we want to make a bit of podcast with some ambassadors in the Bitcoin ecosystem. We've been already in reach with them. And well, some of them were in New York, NFT New York. Others, we will meet them in Paris next week. So there is a lot to do. And I think when there is a lot to do, you don't get bored easily. And that's good.
Yes, but when we just stop with the Aquarium, Raul, what do you mean? Like on the one side, you have these validators, they need to validate transaction, and of course, yes, the usage of Aquarium currently, the majority of the people cannot see it. But as soon as the ecosystem is growing and you would like to use it, then it will be then you can see it exactly as you mentioned with the example of the fees if you don't want to sell your ADA. But with the validators, how does it mean like each pool or each like pools or like the people could apply to get validators. Could you give us also here a little bit insights?
Sure. So how are going to work the Aquarium validators? So first of all, to become an Aquarium validator, you have to verify the transactions that are going to be submitted by the users. You will need to have FLDT in order to run this node. The second part, I'm not saying how much FLDT because these numbers are still a work in progress. And what kind of transactions are going to be sponsored by Aquarium? Well, we can have feeless transaction, so zero ADA as fee. And in this case, the projects, for instance, we have been also already required by some game in Cardano that would like to allow users to make transaction on while they are playing around in the game without paying ADA, because when it's just one transaction a day, maybe you can handle it with the fees. But think about games that require one transaction for each interaction. You are going to pay 0.2 ADA for all of that? No, that's a lot. And games are going to be sponsoring the transaction in order to onboard more users easily, because their revenues are going to cover also the fees that they are going to pay. So this is a so-called sponsored transaction. On the other hand, we can have a white list of smart contracts in the Aquarium ecosystem. For instance, I can allow users to use my ADA for paying the transaction in exchange of a token, but only if they are swapping on MinSwap, for instance, or using FluidTokens and so on. In this way, you are, first of all, you are monitoring what's the status and what are your ADA used for, and in the latter case, you are also able to limit the use of your ADA, because maybe you are the app and you want to help the user of your app, or otherwise, what kind of transaction we can have? It's just a regular transaction when I want to pay Babel fees, sending ADA, minting NFTs, and so on. And some user is providing the ADA, asking for a token, and I'm going to be able to use that ADA. And this is going to be a really nice scenario, I think. It's right now, on Cardano, we don't really have a market fee for the transaction, but in this way, we are going to see, because there are going to be users putting up their ADA in exchange for other tokens, and the users are going to check who is offering the best rate, and they are going to use that ADA.
But does it mean, Raul, in the end, it's like it will be completely integrated in FluidTokens, or do you plan like a separate product, which is then like the marketplace for this purpose?
So we are going actually to release some SDK. Aquarium is going to be also open source. And in this way, everyone is going to be able to interact with Aquarium and so on. So the market fee, for instance, of course, we are going to provide APIs in order to interact with it, but we don't want to be centralized. So if someone wants to build their own way to interact with this, they will be able to do it. And on the other hand, also, we were in reach actually with the Babel fees team on Cardano about this. How and why? Well, when we were talking about Babel fees, well, we are doing that with smart contracts and they are doing that on the ledger. So it's a bit different. But at the same time, they said, okay, we want to do it in this way. So let's say that we are thinking in a similar ways, because what we are doing right now with smart contracts is what we want to do in the ledger directly. And but we don't want to do the market fee. We don't want to do that marketplace where users are going to put the ADA in exchange of tokens. So you see that at that point there is a really nice collaboration, because the market fee, marketplace of this fee, where users put the ADA in exchange of tokens, we are going to build it, but it's going to be decentralized so everyone can join it, and it's going to be used when Bubble Fees comes alive on Cardano native, so not only Aquarium. And I think that this is a nice way of collaboration, and it really showcases that Cardano really pay attention to the innovation in the space. When you do something that is really innovative, someone is going to know that you are doing that, and someone is going to reach to you.
Exactly, yes. So it's like you're building the foundation, and as soon as the foundation is built, then the further development can start then. But do you have like here, as you mentioned, like, okay, with Aquarium, we have like the micro games like already onboarding. Have our other DApps reached you already regarding this function?
Which,
Other
sorry?
apps like other DeFis, they would like to use the market fee protocol.
Oh, yes, yes. We've been reached not only by gaming that wanted to do sponsored transaction, but also DeFi protocols that would like to allow users to pay with their tokens directly instead of ADA for the fees.
Okay, and when can we do it? When can we expect more to follow on this? So it's like, as you mentioned, okay, it's work in progress, but do we have a timeline when we can expect the go live?
Sure, sure. So we are going to release the MVP in testnet by the end of this month or early May. And in mainnet, we would expect it in July, I think. Yes, this is the real case scenario. Also, it's going to be interesting because since it is being sponsored by Catalyst, it's completely open source, and community are going to be able to build on top of it directly without reaching us. Like, it's a repository, completely open source. They can just check the code, maybe fork it, and maybe they will be able to improve it, provide feedbacks even earlier than Aquarium goes live.
Nice, nice, yeah. And regarding the validators, this means like everybody of us can apply for this. So how you would like to do this? Of course, you mentioned it. It's like still not clear, but do you have like a favor here? How you would like to proceed?
Yes. So first of all, we don't want to gate the process and give the keys as validators just to few. So it's for sure going to be one of the requirement, the FLDT token, and the second scenario could be where someone that doesn't have the token can rent an amount required from another user in order to become a validator. And this is going to be possible. And I think that this opens new markets, because you don't really have to use your token to become a validator, or you don't really have to sell your tokens to get liquidity. You can even rent your tokens to someone willing to become a validator, and well, in that way you are generating revenues without selling your tokens.
The boosted stack in a different manner, or?
Yes, exactly.
Nice, nice. So it's like you're enlarging the universe. Um, it sounds good. But you also mentioned this, Raul, regarding the Bitcoin. So this was like fluid, and also this was like in your vision when we spoke in like already 2 years ago or longer now. You mentioned already Cardano is just the beginning. You would like also to go more in cross chains, and Bitcoin is just the first one. So, what other chains can we expect? Do you have also here like a timeline or like a vision? I remember that we said once it was Matic was like on the timetable and so on. So it's like, could you give us also here insights?
No, exactly. So I would like to say every blockchain, but let's be realistic and with a timeline of this year at least. So for this year, we want to focus on the UTXO world. And in our roadmap, we didn't have Bitcoin, actually. That was a surprise also for us. But the other blockchain that we want to integrate is also Midnight. Midnight, why? Because there is a lot of innovation there. Zero knowledge has something that we have not been really working on in the Cardano world, but there are some applications and some services where you can actually use it a lot. For instance, there are companies that want to use blockchain in order to prove their track of records or track their data. But when you publish data on the blockchain, that's available for everyone. And some data are sensitive. You don't want to store them and showcase them around to everyone. And Midnight is really helpful in this case because you can store information and nobody can see what's written in, but at the same time, you can prove that what you are saying is correct and the data that you're using is completely correct. And why Midnight? Also because their approach in architecture is not really 100% UTXO, but at the same time is not 100% account model. I suggest to everyone that would like to understand a bit more to check the documentation of Midnight, because I find it really, really interesting. And it's an hybrid mode between UTXO and account model. And there is so much similar with the Cardano architecture, but at the same way, some advantages, not just in terms of zero knowledge, but also in terms of concurrency.
Okay, so this means like Bitcoin was not planned, but you did it, and Midnight is then the second half of the year. Would like to focus on the developments.
Yes, correct, correct. Also, just saying that uh, our smart contract EVM1 has been already released in Milcomeda. That was our, let's say, way to test the EVM side. It was really interesting as concept. And this means that that smart contract can be easily deployed on Ethereum, Polygon, and EVM chain. But at the same time, right now, we want to focus on chains that are really decentralized. And at the same time, that are chains that can really collaborate, not only in terms of technical aspect, side aspect, but also as community. There is so much things that we as Cardano can learn from the Bitcoin ecosystem, and also the opposite. We have experience of building on UTXOs for years. And I'm not saying us as FluidTokens, us as Cardano, we have a lot of experience to share. And we have seen so many maybe errors, bad practices. There is so much that we can do together.
Yes, that's so true. That's so true. And um, when now we go back to the Bitcoin, this started now. So what are the next milestones here? You mentioned also like, okay, you need the mainnet is already now live. What's going on here?
So sure, we released the mainnet, I think 10 days ago, something like that. And the first feedbacks has been really, really nice because the UI and the UX, if you check it, it's smooth, really. The first things that the user asked to do was indeed to integrate other other wallets, and this is what we are doing. And what are the next steps then? Right now, to create awareness of what we are doing, we released our paper yesterday, and also we updated all our docs on docs.fluidtokens.com. You can find the docs regarding Cardano and also Bitcoin. And in this sense, I would like to say that we released our paper with the code that we are actually using as open source, because in this way, users, first of all, don't have to trust us. And second, we want that every developer that has experience on Cardano is able also to provide something, a DeFi service on the Bitcoin ecosystem, because in this way, we are going to bring attention to Cardano and to bring the liquidity that we are needing right now.
Okay, but for me, like also like when we discussed, and like you're going multi-chain, you enlarge also the portfolio. But what does it mean for the token economics of Fluid? So it's like 100 million is the cap. What's happening there? So it's like it will be used for all the others. It's the linking part for all the multi-chains, or how you would like to proceed here?
No, yes, absolutely. We don't want to create a new token. What we are willing to do instead is to connect. So, for instance, on Bitcoin, everyone is talking about runes. Runes is the new standard of tokens that is coming after the halving, Bitcoin halving. And the more we study, the more we see that that's the standard that we would like to have for our FLDT token. So our task, probably it's not going to happen directly after the halving, but probably in May and June, is to connect our token and allow it to go also on Bitcoin in a decentralized way. This is why we're studying it. We don't want to have a centralized bridge. And in this way, you will be able to trade your FLDT token on Cardano, on Bitcoin, and it opens new opportunities. For instance, on Bitcoin, they don't have an automatic market maker DEX like MinSwap, for instance. So you, in this way, are providing them a way to trade on a DEX, on a real DEX, their tokens, our token. And at the same way, we are allowing our users to trade our token in a new market. And we are really looking forward to this. And we are not really, let's say, creating new token, expanding the tokenomics, changing. No, tokenomics is fixed. The tokens that are going to be bridged, let's say on Bitcoin or on other ecosystems, are going to be the same. So when you move them to another chain, they are removed from the original chain and so ever. And this is how it's going to work.
So this means like you're building bridges first to transfer then the tokens that can be then used on the new chain.
Exactly. And as I said, we want to avoid any centralized bridge. So this is what we are focusing right now. Probably you saw a tweet with my personal account. I think it was some days ago regarding, what's the name? Regarding the possibility to use the Hydra together with the Lightning Network to create this decentralized bridge. And this is actually the case. So when you have a network of validators on Cardano and you have a network of validators on Bitcoin, you can create a link between Hydra and Lightning Network. And in this way, you don't have to trust Fluid tokens when you are bridging and moving your tokens along to another chain. You are actually using a network of validators that have a reason in order to give the validation, each of them, and If the validation is not passed or someone is lying, that bridge is not going to work, like that swap. And when I say a network of validators, you understand that Aquarium is going to play an important role, because we don't have to create a new network of validators if we already have one.
Exactly, it's the foundation, and with this to develop it only further. But I think like a few weeks ago, you also like on the Twitter account, you asked, okay, where should we listen that Fluid token, like on a new exchange and something. And some people also, they put a lot of exchanges or dexes where Fluid should be. So it's like, could you also give us a little bit more insights regarding this? So what are the next steps? Have you planned really the listing on other exchanges? Also, majority of the people ask us, okay, Binance. So what can you share here with us, Raul?
Sure, absolutely. So what can we share? We can actually say that we are in contact with the listing centralized exchange. We won't announce before it's every procedure has been completed and everything is done. So because we don't really want people to create hype around that. Also, because if you think about it, what's the reason to list on a centralized exchange? It's in order to onboard users that are not DeFi experienced, right? But at the same time, you have to give them a reason to purchase your token. Because if they see just a new token listed on a checks, well, that's not enough. They are going to say, okay, but what's this token? And if you provide value on the Web3 space, and so they know, oh, this is the token of FluidTokens. They are the guys doing this. They are the guys doing that. At that point, when you list your token in a centralized exchange, people are going to buy it. Otherwise, it's just a listing that is going to affect the budget of the project, but it's not really going to bring value to our token.
No, I'm completely with you, Raul. So it's like in the end, it's just really hyping something and putting pressure but on the other side, you don't have the product. And this is also for me the difference to others. So I appreciate the way and that you don't just say, yes, we wanted to go there or that exchange. It doesn't make sense. But if I just hear it clearly out, so this means you focus only on one exchange.
We are focusing, we are starting with one right now, but we want to have more than one. And there have been already some tier two that reached to us, but the volume on those platforms were really not enough to, let's say, to have a reason to list there, because yes, we want to be listed, but at the same time, we want to have a market there, a market of users that could actually be interested in our token.
But from which pocket will be funded? And this means like from the treasury of Economics, you take like parts and put it into an exchange, and this is then used for as liquidity for the trades. Or could you also share a little bit here? How does it work? The listing of a new token to other exchanges.
Sure. So no, it's not coming from the treasury of the DApp. The treasury of the communities. The community is going to decide how to use it. This is actually coming from FluidTokens pockets. So the fundraising that we did and that we have, we are not going to sell tokens in order to list. Even if we like actually the approach of Yagun that borrowed ADA using their tokens. That's pretty smart as a DeFi action. And at the same time, also the revenues that we are getting right now with boosted stake and also some Web2 onboarding processes are going to be the funds that we are going to use.
So this means like you hold the tokens, you don't sell it actively, maybe like small parts for like to obtain the monthly costs. This is like what is then your approach? Because with these extra pockets you're getting, this is enough for you to, as we started with with the discussion. So it's enough that you have enough funds to develop the product further.
Absolutely, yes, yes. We are well funded and are here for years.
Yes.
So also we have not our token allocation has not been released. So and it's going to be transparent, so everyone is going to be able to see where those tokens go. And yeah, as what can I say is that you will be able to see that those tokens will be handled in my case in my ledger, and in the team probably the same. So we are not willing to sell our tokens.
No, no, nice. That's I think what the people wanted to listen, and as soon as they see like because before the space started, I just saw like a tweet that somebody sold 150 or 200K, and who is doing this? So it's yes, this is market, and as soon as you transfer the tokens, the people can decide what to do with them. Yeah, but also for the majority of the people which are on the project, it's also important to know. Okay, do you believe still on the project? Do you stay there? But as you mentioned, you're here for years and not only like to collect money and disappear. So thank you very much, Raul. Thank you also like everybody who followed us during the Twitter space. For me, it was also like a lot of new insights. If you don't have now any questions, or maybe later you come on this, just put it on the in the comment, and we would be glad to answer it. And feel free always to reach us. Like we are here to support you.
Thanks a lot, and thanks also for this your time. Thanks everyone who joined in the space, and you can find us on Discord, on Twitter, and everywhere. Hope that you enjoy the wave because there are so many things we want to release.